Hello everyone, so Kim here with Native Lady Book Warrior, and today I'm going to be doing another book haul. So unfortunately, it's kind of getting into the late hours of the evening, so I'm gonna have to split this book haul again because I have like a pretty big stack of books right here, and you know, it is a school night, it's a work night, we have work tomorrow, we have school tomorrow, so so expect another book haul from me and I'll explain a little bit more, but until then, let's get started. Hello everyone, so welcome back to my channel. If you have not been here before, very new welcomes. Vitsuave or Visalge, sit down, welcome. And what am I gonna do today? Sorry, my head is going a million miles per hour right now, so I'm trying to catch up with it. But anyway, today I'm going to be doing a book haul. So this book haul is going to be comprised of books that have been purchased by myself, also books that have been gifted to me because very recently it was my birthday. So yes, people, I am an Aries. So, and books that have been sent to me by the publishers. Wow, I'm pretty pretty surprised. I still haven't gotten into this whole used to this whole idea of really understanding how you get arcs. So the way I have been going about it so far is just through my friends in my Indigenous reviewer community. So they have been connecting me with people, and then they have been helping me get arcs. Every now and then I have a publisher reach out to me and ask if I would like to review a book, which a couple of these are. And so that's how I've been kind of coming into arcs. But there was an arc that I have been waiting for like probably about 3 weeks now. And unfortunately, that arc, I'm not gonna be showing you what it is, but it's some pretty exciting stuff. But anyway, this first stack of books have all been sent to me by Milkweed. So Milkweed Editions is a publisher. So these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books that I'm going to be showing you were all sent to me by Milkweed. And I believe they're all finished copies. So none of these are arcs, but they're finished copies that they sent to me to review for you all. So I'm kind of excited about them. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to be showing you is a poetry book. And it is by an Indigenous author, and it's called Eyes Bottled Dark and a Mouthful of Flowers by Indigenous author Jake Skeets. So Jake Skeets is Diné, so he's from the Navajo Nation, and I believe the area he's from is New Mexico. So the Navajo Nation is pretty big. It's the largest land-wise Indigenous sovereign lands in the United States. So this book is comprised of poetry. And I first saw this book when I was on Instagram and browsing through, and I saw that Neil, so Neil Yazzie, he's another incredible Indigenous bookstagrammer. So Neil was the one who I learned about this book from. And I know that Jake Skeets is an Indigenous queer author as well. So I cannot wait to read this because I heard this was pretty good. So I'm excited. And so this is the first book that was sent to me by Milkweed. The second book I'm really excited to show you. So this book came out in March of this year, and I feel like it's going to be a pretty amazing read. I've seen the Indigenous reviewer community already have read this book, and they've been posting some pretty amazing book reviews on it on Bookstagram. And one of the Bookstagram specifically accounts or book reviews that I've seen was Anishinaabe Reads. So that is Sasha. So Sasha is an Indigenous bookstagrammer. Go follow their account, go engage. So the book that I'm going to be showing you is called The Seedkeeper by Diane Wilson. Diane Wilson is an Indigenous author from the Dakota Nation, And I'm really excited to read this. I heard that this book is a really great follow-up to Braiding Sweetgrass. I feel like they kind of follow along the same themes. And one of the things that I heard about this book was that it was pretty incredible in terms of coming home, rediscovering and touching into your roots and Indigenous identity. And then also one of the major words that I can remember right now is like a reawakening. So I'm pretty excited to read this. I really don't want to read the back, but what I'll do is, if you want to hear more about this book, I'll link down Sasha's review on Bookstagrammer, and then you can go ahead and check it out. So yeah, so this is the second book that Milkweed sent me. The third book that was sent to me by Milkweed, and I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Because, okay, first of all, this is a pretty interesting story. I talk about Erin and Dani's book club all the time on this channel because they are two amazing, two powerhouse Indigenous bookstagrammers. And the next book is Mameskatch by Daryl J. McLeod. And this book was actually their book for February. And unfortunately, I was looking for this book and I wasn't able to find like a good copy of this book. I wasn't able to find a good copy, and my library didn't have it. My Libby app didn't have it for the libraries that are near me. So I had a pretty tough time tracking this book down. And then all of a sudden, guess what I got in the mail? Yes. So I actually have 2 copies of this book. So if you follow me on Instagram, I actually recently made it to over 1,000 on Instagram. So I am going to be doing a book giveaway just to celebrate that, do a mini celebration of me reaching 1K followers. And yeah, so look out for that. So this book is a memoir, and it is a Cree coming of age story. That was a really long way to talk about that. This was only my 3rd book that I hauled in. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. The 4th book that was sent to me is also from Milkweed, and it is by Richard Wagamies, and this is for Joshua. It's an Ojibwe father teaches his son, and I believe that this is a memoir. And I really don't want to read the inside, but what I'll do, again, I'll link Milkweed's description or maybe another Indigenous book reviewer's review of this book down below. But I kind of want to go into this book very new. I've heard great things about this book. Like, I'm looking at the back of this book right now. Like, Louise Erdrich has some great things to say about it. Richard Van Camp. So I'm kind of excited to read this, and this is the 4th book. Richard Wagamies is an Indigenous author. He's Ojibwe, and I believe he is from the Wabaseemoong Independent Nations. Yeah, so so Richard Wagamies is an Indigenous author. I think another popular book that you guys might be more familiar with is Indian Horse. So Richard Wagamies also wrote Indian Horse. So yes, this is a memoir by Richard Wagamies. So this last book that was sent to me by Milkweed as well is by Kazim Ali, and this is called The Northern Light: Power, Land, and Memory of Water. So this is a memoir, and I'm going to read the leaf really quick. So first, the author, Kazim Ali, is the author of several volumes of poetry, novels, essay collections. So on the back of this book, on the top, as you can see, it's like bold print right here. A celebrated poet and citizen of the world follows childhood memories to a place where broken promises and settler colonialism meet Indigenous resilience and the struggle for land justice. Okay, that is all I'm gonna read. Wow, so I feel like I have some awesome land reads in here. Okay, awesome. So yes, these are the books that have been gifted to me by Milkweed. So thank you so much, Milkweed. I cannot wait to read and review all of these books. Thank you. Okay, so the next book, this is a finished copy, and this was actually sent to me by Simon & Schuster. So the author is not an Indigenous author, but he wrote a book about Indigenous life and peoples. Well, sort of. I don't know. So it's called We Had a Little Real Estate Problem, The Unheralded Story of Native Americans and Comedy by Cliff Nesteroff. So, wow. I actually first heard of this book from Etu Brody. Etu Brody talked about this book in their video and on their channel recently, and I believe they said that they were going to read and review this. So I'm going to read the leaf really quick. So, okay, so if you have not heard of this joke, I wonder if I should link the video down below, but I'm sure it'll be in the description. Hold on one yet. Okay, it was one of the most reliable jokes in Charlie Hill's stand-up routine. My people are from Wisconsin. We used to be from New York. We had a little real estate problem. We Had a Little Real Estate Problem, acclaimed comedy historian Cliff Nesteroff focuses on one of the comedy's most significant and little-known stories. How, despite having been denied representation in the entertainment industry, Native Americans have influenced and advanced the art. So I believe this just kind of talks about probably the history and experiences of Indigenous comedians in the business. So I don't really want to go any more than that. And I'm really excited to get into this book because I remember the first time I seen Charlie Hill's stand-up comedy, and it's so funny. But unfortunately, a lot of like that comedy is really rooted in historical fact and racism against Indigenous peoples. But yeah, so I'm kind of excited to get into this book. I don't know when I'm gonna read this. This looks like a pretty hefty read. How many pages? Ooh, there's photos in here. What? Oh, there's Vine Deloria himself. Oh yeah, I forgot he wrote a chapter on Indian humor. Well, that's what the chapter is called. It's called Indian Humor in Custer Died for Your Sins. I actually have that book on the wall somewhere, or maybe on the shelf behind me. There's John Trudell, and this is Charlie Hill. So this is Charlie Hill. He's the one who did the joke about we had a little real estate problem. And the way I'm saying that, it's not even comparable to how he says it, because he's very sarcastic and he's really funny. That's when this is when he did stand-up comedy on the Richard Pryor show. And I think I'm gonna just link that video down below so y'all can watch it. Who else is in here? Wow. These pictures are pretty incredible. Yeah, but now there's a lot of comedians, like I don't know. Kind of, maybe I should talk about them when I review this book. Yeah, that's a better idea. This is the 6th book. Okay, I'm so excited to show you these next few books because these are books I actually purchased myself. And this next book, it is so pretty. I hauled in Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. Or Bowley. I don't. I'll get that pronunciation right sooner or later. So I actually purchased this from Birch Bark and Books. Birch Bark and Books is an Indigenous owned bookstore, and it is owned by none other than Louise Erdrich, which is pretty awesome and amazing, right? And guess what? Yours truly has a signed copy. Yes, I do. I cannot wait to read this. I think I'm going to try to read this as soon as possible. Hopefully within the month of April. So, I don't know. We'll get into that a little bit. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it. You guys just go watch my April TBR video. Sorry about that. But yes, this is a very beautiful book. It is incredible. It is so, so pretty. One of the things I was kind of bummed out about, though, is look at this. Why? There is a unremovable circle in the middle of this book. Bummer. The author of this book is an Indigenous author, Angeline. She is a citizen of the Sault Ste. Marie band of Chippewa natives. I remember reading the description of this book. This is not a fantasy. I think people have been thinking that this is a fantasy book. I think just because of the incredible artwork in the front, it looks very awesome. But this book, I believe, is a mystery. It's an Indigenous mystery or crime fiction. It follows an 18-year-old protagonist who has been called upon to help investigate crime that is taking place in Indigenous territories. So I don't want to go into any more than that, but I will link down below other Indigenous viewers who have reviewed this book. I know Melita from Midnight Librarian has reviewed this book, and other Indigenous Bookstagrammers have also reviewed this book, including Dani and Erin from Erin's Library, and a whole slew of other Indigenous readers. So I will link those reviews down below. And this book just came out. It like the Seed Keeper, it just came out in March. Yep. So I am very I'm very excited to read this book, and it is a very beautiful book. Look at the beautiful artwork on this. It is pretty incredible. So this is the 6th book that I'm hauling in for this book haul. The next book that I hauled in that was purchased by myself is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Evan Winter is a Black author, and I cannot wait to read this. I've been hearing so much hype about this book, and I just know I'm gonna love it. I heard that it's a pretty amazing work of high fantasy. This is swimming around pretty heavily on BookTube right now, and I'm late in the game in reading this, but I cannot wait to read this. So this is the 7th book that I've hauled in. This book is by an Indigenous author, and it is called The Beginning and End of Rape by Sarah Deer, Confronting Sexual Violence in Native America. This is a nonfiction book, so I'm going to read the back really quick. Despite what major media sources say, violence against Native women is not an epidemic. An epidemic is biological and blameless. Violence against Native women is historical and political, bounded by oppression and colonial violence. In her powerful essay, Sarah Deer, who played a crucial role in the Reauthorization of Violence Against Women Act in 2013, or VAWA 2013, and has advocated for cultural and legal reforms to protect Indigenous women from endemic sexual violence and abuse, points to the possibility of actual and positive change in a world where Native women are systematically undervalued, left unprotected, and hurt. Okay, so this book is authored by Sarah Deer. So Sarah Deer is a citizen of the Muskogee Nation of Oklahoma, and she is a lawyer and a professor at University of Kansas. I definitely need to make this book a priority. So the next book that I'm hauling in that I purchased myself is Mediocre, The Dangerous Legacy of White Male America by Ijeoma Oluwa. So Ijeoma Oluwa is a Nigerian American author, and I think it was Ashley from Bookish Realm who stated that this book was pretty good, and I already read the sleeve, and it's pretty darn amazing, or it sounds pretty darn like it's going to be a pretty darn amazing read. So I'll just read I'll read the second paragraph. Throughout the last 150 years of American history, from the post-Reconstruction South and the mythic stories of cowboys in the West to protests against police brutality and the backlash against the rise of women in politics, white male supremacy has wrought devastating consequences for people of color, women and non-binary people, and white men themselves. Here, the author demonstrates how white male America was forged through the erasure and oppression of everyone else in America. Through her signature sharp wit, Oluwa exposes how white male identity pervades our divided culture today, causing racist and sexist behavior even among white allies and male feminists. After investigating the true costs of a social and political order that overvalues white men, she then imagines the possibilities for a new white male identity, one free from racism and sexism. Wow. Holy crap. I cannot wait to read this. I'm pretty excited. So this is the 9th book that I'm hauling in that I purchased myself. The next 2 books have been purchased by myself, and they actually came in pretty late. One thing that comes out of these next 2 books, and these are books that I purchased because these are the reads for February and March for Erin and Dani's book club. Daryl J. McLeod is an Indigenous author, and this is a memoir. And McLeod is Cree from Treaty 8 territory in northern Alberta. So I wasn't able to participate in this discussion, but I'm still going to read this book, and maybe I can convince Erin from Erin's library or Dani just to have kind of like a quick side conversation with me about this book. The next book that I got is another Ernestine Hayes book, The Tawa of Raven, an Alaskan Native memoir. So I already have read a previous work by Ernestine Hayes, and that was Blonde Indian, and wow, it was pretty incredible. As you can see, I already have my little Erin and Dani's bookmark in this book already. Ernestine Hayes is Tlingit from Alaska, and I believe this continues her journey from the last book, from Blonde Indian. Okay, one of the things that I remember, I was watching Melita's channel the other day, the Midnight Librarian, and she was wondering if you have to read Blonde Indian in order to understand what is going on with this book. And I honestly don't know. But I do know that one of the things that I've heard about this book is that it continues that same writing format. Ernestine Hayes is pretty genius. So what she did was actually fuse her own memoir experiences in this book, but also she's able to also include a fictional story alongside her story. I believe, you know what? I'm not even going to discuss it because I don't want to give spoilers for Blonde Indian. So this is 10 and 11 that I'm hauling in. Okay, so the next book that I am going to show you, I purchased this book because I was watching, well, earlier in the year, I watched Jess Owens. I watched her Best Books of 2020, and one of the books that she had on there was Ring Shout by P. Jolly Clark. Oh, she sold this book. And I was like, and she said something saying like, it's not that long, and it's not. I can't even imagine what this book is going to be about, and I don't want to read the sleeve. So Clark is from New York, and it says here he was mostly raised in Houston, but his parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. So I heard that this book is pretty amazing. So I'm not gonna go further into this book. I think this book has been swimming around a lot lately on BookTube. But yeah, I got this book because of Jess Owens. So this book is number 12. The next book, I actually got this book from my mom for my birthday. And so my mom, she reached out to me and she's like, Kim Ray, what are some books that you want for your birthday? Or what do you want for your birthday? So I sent her kind of like a couple of titles, and I said, if you can't find any of them, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But one of the books that she got me was Vida Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. So this is a translated work from Russia, and I heard it is a pretty amazing fantasy. And again, Jess Owens, this book was on that same video where she recommended or her best reads of 2020. So I picked this up, and I believe that this book actually has a sequel to it, or maybe even it is a trilogy, but I'm not sure. But I know that she said right now this first book is the only book that has been translated to English. So I cannot wait to read it. And I already kind of know what this is about, so I'm going to read it to you. So while vacationing at the beach with her mother, teenage Sasha Samachenko meets the mysterious Farit Kozennikov and reminds herself powerless to refuse when this usual vaguely sinister man directs her to perform a task with potentially scandalous consequences. He rewards her with a strange gold coin. As the days progress, Sasha carries out other acts for which she receives more coins, and as summer ends, her domineering mentor directs her to use her gold to enter the Institute of Special Technologies in a remote village. Against her mother's wishes, Sasha leaves behind all that is familiar. She quickly discovers the Institute's special technologies are unlike anything she has ever encountered. The books are impossible to read, the lessons are obscure to the point of maddening, and the work refuses memorization. Using terror and coercion, the school does not punish students directly for their transgressions and failures. Instead, their families pay the terrible price. Yet, despite her fear, Sasha encourages changes that defy the dictates of matter and time, experiences which are nothing like she has ever dreamed of, and suddenly all she could ever want. So I heard that this book involves a lot of tension. I heard it's a very dark fantasy, but also it says here on the back that it's full of psychological suspense and tension. So I'm really excited to read this. I think I'm probably going to be reading this along with some heavy reads that I have coming up. And also, or maybe even during those nonfiction reads. I heard this book from Jess Owens, and I'll link that video up here and down below, and you guys can go check it out, like her best reads of 2020. Okay, so the last book that I have for you all has been gifted to me by my mom for my birthday, and that is Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. This is the first book of a series, which is called the Patterness series. I really wanted to read this when I read the description of this book, because recently, in February, I read Octavia Butler's Dawn of the Lilith Brood series, or it's also called the Xenogenesis series. I'm really excited to read this because the back is just really amazing. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read this like yellow part right here. And it says, an epic story of love and hate. Two mortals chase each other across continents and centuries, binding their fates together and changing the destiny of a human race. So yes, Octavia Butler book. I cannot wait. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be purchasing the entire series, but I'm just going to be starting with this book. So pretty excited. These are the books that I have hauled in. And these books include finished copies that have been sent to me by publishers, also books that I have purchased my own, and also books that have been recently gifted to me for my birthday. So yeah, cannot wait to read all. I cannot wait to read all of these, and that concludes my video for this book haul. I also have another book haul video coming up, but I'm probably going to do that later. And I don't know if you can, yeah, you probably can't see the books but on my shelf up there. But the next book haul that I'm going to be doing is going to comprise books I'm hauling in that are used. So yeah, it's going to be a used book haul. And I am so grateful for these books, especially the ones that were sent to me by family who are gifted to me, and then those who are sent to me by the publisher. So I can't wait to read all these books. And I know I have I have a pretty hefty stack already ahead of me, but I'm hoping to do some serious reading in April and also May. May, I'm gonna be pretty busy in May, but I know for sure June is not gonna be so heavy. So I can't wait to read and review all these books. And yeah, so if you all have made it to the end of this video, then let's see, leave me an emoji that represents spring. So it could be a sun, it could be a rainy cloud, it could be plants, it could be flowers, it could be whatever you want or whatever you think, whatever emoji represents spring. But yeah, so I shall see you all soon. I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. And yeah, I shall see you next time. So Kim here with Native Lady Bookwear is finally going to go to sleep. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.